Hi everyone, this is an update on Virgin Mary's message, on the message that she gave at the end of 2016, 5 months ago. She gave series of messages and she said an event is coming up. Some important event is going to take place on May 13, 2017 at her Fatima 100-year anniversary. So I made some videos. I said to the public on YouTube that she said many times, few times, not just one time, about this important event that's going to happen. And I thought, in my opinion, I was giving my opinion. I mean, my videos are still on YouTube and I'm going to leave it there. I said, I don't know what she meant by exactly by an event, but in my opinion it's going to be a miracle or a sign. So anyway, I was mistaking. That was my opinion. It was mistaking. Virgin Mary never said a miracle. She never used the word miracle. She just said an event is going to happen. An important event is going to happen in Europe. Then in another message she gave, she said it's going to happen on May 13 in Fatima, on the day of the 100-year anniversary of Fatima. And she said in the last messages, I believe May 13 or May 12, she said the angels of Fatima were waiting for 100 years for this event, for this very important event. So I understood what she was talking about. She said most people who are going to be there, they're not going to feel anything, but it's going to be on a universal level. Universal level, that means the whole world is going to know about it. That's gonna, the knowledge of Fatima, or it's gonna expand towards the entire world. So it wasn't making a little bit sense. It was a little bit puzzled, because most people who gonna be there, they're not gonna feel anything, and at the same time it's gonna be on a universal level. The whole world is going to know about it. So anyway, I see what happened. I'm going to explain what happened. She was talking everything in a reverse way. Everything from their side of view. I understood exactly what she did. This is super important. So what she did is she took a kind of a picture of it from their side of view. From their side, heaven, from God's side, Virgin Mary's side, the entire heaven, the angels. From their side of it, this was a super important event, extremely big, huge, important event, and she is right about that. And the reason that it's so important for them is it's because she's kind of giving a picture of from their side. This is something that's really advancing God's work in humanity, in this world. They're not here, they don't live here. They live in heaven. You and I, we live here. So they're looking at it from their side, from heaven. What does it advance their work, God's work? What doesn't bring God's work forward? And for them, this was a huge thing, basically because now Fatima became a lot more stronger. I mean, it was officially accepted by the Catholic Church as a genuine. Fatima was accepted as a genuine. The apparitions was approved by the church, Catholic Church, but that was done in 1930s. In 1930s, the Bishop of Portugal, I believe, approved it, and it became approved by the church. Um, uh, but the beatification wasn't done, and there was a lot of people against it in the church, or um, I guess people who have a say in it. Many people were against it, and they were fighting for it. And only in 2000, year 2000, that these two kids they got beatified. They saw Virgin Mary in 1917, and 2 years later, the two brothers and sisters, Francisco and Jacinta Matos, I think their name is, Marto. So 2 years later they died, and only in year 2000 they got beatified. And beatification, it's the easiest step. It's the easiest thing. Very easy to succeed, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't. They didn't got beatified that easily. And so now let me enter. I'm going to talk more. I'm going to talk partially from Virgin Mary's side, why she made a huge deal about this, really a huge, humongous deal, and why it was such a huge deal. Because Fatima now became glued, or it became officially part of Catholic Church. Pope Francis went there on May 13, and they declared the two kids, the brother and sister, Francisco and Jacinta Marto, he canonized them, and they became saint. Now this canonization thing, it's an extremely complicated thing. It's very difficult to succeed canonization. Very difficult to be canonized. The last 1,000 years, only 7 popes got canonized. So it's not easy to get canonized. In order to be canonized, everything, at least 2 miracles has to be happen. Something that's that you can contribute directly to those kids or to Fatima. And the last miracle that happened, that they were relying on that, Vatican used that miracle in 2013. A little boy, I believe March 2013, a little boy fell from a window, 20 feet high window, and he fell on his head, and they took him to hospital. The doctor, they said there is a chance that he will not survive. The kid went into a coma. While it was in a coma, his heart stopped at 2 times, and his parents, they start praying to Virgin Mary, Fatima, the kids, God, Jesus, and then they find sisters, nuns. They ask them to pray for their kids. They start praying for it, and the kid, after and the doctor, they said the chances are he's gonna die, or if he survives, he's gonna be in severe cognitive disability condition in that state, or he's gonna be permanently in a vegetable state. He's never gonna be well. So after they were praying, after a month or something, suddenly the kid woke up, and not too long after, I believe they discharged him. And eventually, how quickly it happened, that I didn't they did not give that much detail. They just said his parent. They said he completely got healed, completely is completely normal. He's just like before. And they took actually the family, the mother, father, and the kid on May 13 in Fatima, and they made them get up on the stage and testify about it, because that was the miracle, and they were relying on that. And the Vatican Church is not only a miracle. A doctor, they need a doctor report, and the doctors officially they said that we don't understand what happened, how this kid got healed. Medically, it doesn't make any sense. So it was recognized as a miracle, and the church accepted that as a miracle, credited that to these kids and to Fatima, and that's how they got canonized. My point is, what I'm trying to say, getting canonized looks like it's very difficult in Catholic Church, unless like in their case, either you have to die in a battle or something. I mean, for your faith, if they execute you. I guess if you become a martyr, then they will declare you saint. Or if you weren't a martyr, they did not kill you, some miracle has to happen and everything has to be documented. So that was the miracle, and I mean it is kind of a big deal. I mean, the stuff that I read, you say it's a miracle that they got canonized. The other kid, there were 3 kids. So the third one became, she lived until 2005, and she became a nun. So she died in 2005, and they're still making a case to beatifying her. She's not even beatified yet, and one of the reasons is that the person has to die. After the person dies, only after that they can start those paperwork. Beatification. So I guess pretty soon she'll be beatified, and canonization. As far as the canonization, there is no talk for now. That's not on the table. So canonizing these 2 kids was a huge deal, because now every church has to admit that, at least Catholic Church, and they should bring it and teach it to the public. Now, if they're going to do that, I don't know, because I went to Catholic Church for a few years, and intensively, I mean regularly, and they never talked about Fatima. I mean, I don't recall them ever hearing about Fatima. First time I heard it, it was from a lay person, another person. He said about Fatima, and that's how I learned. So, anyway, now we're going to put that aside. We're going to come to Virgin Mary, what she said and what she taught. Why is it that she made such a huge deal? I understand why she made such a huge deal. She's kind of giving a picture from their side. It's like somebody, she's basically saying that this is a huge deal for us. God, Virgin Mary, heaven, for angels. This is what matters to us, because this is advancing God's work in this world. It's almost well, it's like somebody's taking a black marker and going on a certain letter. Is like drawing a few lines and just grabbing the reader's attention that this word is very important, so the person pay attention to that. So instead of doing it on one word, she's doing it on a long phrase, on 2-3 lines. She's kind of drawing it under and saying that this is super important. It's super important for them because it advances God's work in this world. So anything like anything that you do that it kind of advances God's work in this world, that's what matters to them. She's silently saying that. She's telling to the people, well, this is what matters for us. Anything that you do that advances God's work in this world. So, if you go buy a nice car, if you buy a new car, they are happy for you. But that has no effect on their work. It doesn't advance their work. They're happy for you, but that doesn't advance their work. So for them, they are happy for you, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter for them because that's not what advances their work. Or you go to college, you become successful, you buy a house, this and that. They're happy for you, but that doesn't do anything for God's work. They're just looking at things like that. So that's why she made a huge deal, because this is something that's building the church. They're contributing to God's work. That's why she made such a huge deal. So it is important, and kind of it is a little bit like a miracle, that this canonization succeed, and it's kind of, it is kind of surprising, given that there was so many people against it. And it is my understanding that Pope Francis, this is his first visit to Fatima. So he was there May 12th and May 13th for 2 days. Okay, thank you. Thank you, people.